Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor. For those of you who are new to my channel, I'm in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. Today is finally the day for me to plant my potatoes in a container. I grow my potatoes every single year in this 15-gallon plastic container. And for those of you who are looking to get an abundant potato harvest every single year, don't go anywhere, guys. Stick around with me today. Start with going below this video and clicking the subscribe button. Click the bell icon as well if you're on YouTube to send you notifications every single time I'll upload a new garden video. Now come with me. Let's plant some potatoes. Today you're going to learn how to grow potatoes in a container. And guess what, guys? There is no tilling required. Potatoes are such a great crop to grow. Why? Because they will grow just about anywhere. Of course, in the soil of your home garden, in a plastic container, in a grow bag, even in an old plastic trash can. And one of the best advantages of growing potatoes in a container or a grow bag is, first and foremost, you are eliminating so many critters such as voles. Also, by growing your potatoes in plastic containers, you're also saving yourself lots of ground space in your home gardens. Let's start with the very basics, guys. When should you plant your potatoes, regardless of where in your home garden you're planting and growing them? You should plant your potatoes around the same time you would plant your asparagus crowns. So in the very early spring. The recommended timing to plant your potatoes is roughly 2 weeks before your last anticipated frost date. Now, if you are planting your potatoes in containers, make sure that that container will be at least 10 to 15 gallons in size. So growing potatoes in containers is a bit different than many of the other veggies and herbs that we grow in containers. If you are growing potatoes in your home garden, we plant and grow them from something called a potato seed. And no, guys, it's not the typical seeds that we buy at a garden center in those small seed packets. Seed potatoes are basically your smaller sized potatoes that have already sprouted. So here is an example of a seed potato that I purchased at my local Walmart garden center. You could see that this is a Yukon Gold seed potato, non-GMO, and it comes with 5 tubers inside or 5 potato seeds. They're all various sizes. However, they have all already pre-sprouted. If you do not want to purchase potato seeds at a local garden center, even a big box store, you can always make your own seed potatoes from grocery purchased potatoes. And I have a video on my gardening channel, Gardening in Cold Spring Harbor, where I show you step by step how I make my own potato seeds from grocery bought potatoes. When planting your potatoes in a container, make sure that the container is, number one, large enough. It should be at least 14 inches deep and have at least 10 to 15 gallon capacity. The container must also have excellent drainage, otherwise your potatoes will rot beneath the soil surface. Also, make sure that it's opaque. Make sure it does not allow sunlight in. Make sure it's dark in color. If you don't have a container that's opaque, again, guys, you can easily use an old plastic trash can to grow your potatoes in as well. Now, what is the first step? The first step is to fill your container with 4 to 6 inches of soil. If you're not planting in the ground, do not use garden soil. And it does not allow enough water drainage through. And again, you're risking rotting your potato seeds. When growing in containers or grow bags, make sure you use the correct soil. The soil must be porous, airy, loose, and well draining. So I already pre-filled my 15-gallon container with roughly 6 inches of potting mix, organic potting mix. Now I'm going to use my hands to loosen up this potting mix. Remember, potatoes grow in the soil. So you want to make sure that you loosen up the soil as much as possible. Now that we loosened up our soil or potting mix, we made sure that there is no clumps or bumps in it. The next step is to amend our potting mix with either compost or manure. You want to thoroughly mix in that compost or manure with your potting mix. Today I'm going to be using this mixture of compost and manure. How much to add? I always like to say just be generous. There's no specific rule. However, you want to thoroughly mix in your manure compost with your potting mix. Basically, we are amending our potting mix. The more, the better. Now, what is the next step? The next step is to take our potato seeds, pre-sprouted potato seeds, and to place them inside the container. So what is the rule of thumb when planting our potatoes, placing our potatoes inside the container? You want to make sure that they're at least 5 inches apart from each other, and that they are at least 3 inches away from the edges of your container. So never place your potato too close to the edge of the container. Make sure it's at least 3 to 4 inches away. Each of your potatoes will need 5-gallon soil volume. So say your container is 20 inches in diameter, then you can only plant maximum of 4 potatoes in that container. Don't over clutter your container. Space your potatoes accordingly. And growing potatoes in a container is not the same as growing them in the ground. When we're growing our potatoes in containers, we have to use a process called hilling. What is hilling? Hilling is every time your potato plant will grow roughly 2 to 3 inches in height, we add more soil. As I mentioned previously, your seed potatoes will come in different sizes. Some will be smaller, some will be larger. You have an option to plant your larger size potato seeds as a whole, or you can cut them with a clean knife and make multiple potato seeds out of one. If you are cutting your larger size potato seed, make sure that each segment that you will make, each piece, will have at least 2 sprouts or 2 eyes on it. Also, if you are cutting your seed potato into multiple segments, make sure you do it at least 3 to 4 days before you decide to plant them. Why? Because you need to give your seed potato time to callus. The bruise, the cut which you will make will be raw. And if you plant that cutting without allowing it to dry up, to heal, to callus, you are risking that potato to rot out from bacterial or fungal disease. So always make sure it's nice and healed before you plant it. So now let's plant our potato seeds. Again, we're gonna place it 3 to 4 inches away from the edge of the container. You wanna give it at least 5 inches of spacing. And make sure that the eyes or the sprouts will point up. Never plant your potato seed with the eyes down. This is the wrong way to position your potato. Always make sure that the eyes are facing up. like this. What is the next step? We need to cover our potato seeds with more potting mix. How much do you add? 2 inches. If you place more than 2 inches of potting mix or soil on top of your potato seeds, they will have hard time breaking ground. So I'm going to add roughly 2 inches on top of every single potato seed. And then you want to thoroughly water your container. You want to see the water run out of the drainage holes. That's when you know that you have thoroughly watered them. If some of the sprouts are larger, taller in size, and they're still sticking out, even if you added 2 inches on top, that is absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. You do not want to bury your seed potatoes too much. A little bit over here, and that's it, guys. Our potatoes are planted. Now, in about 10 days or so, you're going to see your potatoes sprout. So once your potato seeds sprout, you're going to see green leaf growth. Every time that green growth will grow about 2 to 3 inches, you will need to add more soil to your container. It's okay to keep adding soil as long as 2/3 of your plant will still be exposed. So this process of continuously adding soil to your container is called hilling. And this process, this hilling process, is what helps us get a larger harvest and a larger yield. When do you water your containers with potatoes? When top 2 inches of the soil feel dry. Again, water thoroughly, allow extra moisture to run out the drainage holes, and let it be. Fertilization. When do you fertilize and with what? I like to fertilize my containers roughly every 2 weeks with fish emulsion. As the weeks and the month will go by, you're going to see large, tall, green growth sprouting from your seed potatoes. Soon after that, you're going to see your potatoes flower. So when do you get to harvest your potatoes? When all of that foliage, that green growth, those flowers will completely die off. Once your potatoes will flower, that foliage will flower, you're going to see that foliage start to turn from bright deep green to yellow brown coloring. Soon after that, all of the foliage will die off. That is when you get to harvest your potatoes. You can harvest them by one at a time by gently digging up each potato, or you can place a tarp or a cloth on the ground and dump out, empty out your entire container onto that tarp. And growing potatoes in containers is such an exciting gardening experience, and it's so great to do this gardening with your young children. My kids love to help me garden, and they love to help me harvest potatoes even more. In fact, I have a video on my channel from last year where my little kiddos helped me harvest our potatoes from our containers, and they had so much fun doing it. So if you're interested, check out that video as well. I can't wait till they help me harvest our potatoes this year. One more thing to note: if you're planting various potato varieties, don't forget to label your containers, because once they'll sprout and the foliage will start growing, they're going to look absolutely identical. So if you want to distinguish each container, place a label onto each of your containers. This is it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful, sunny, warm, mild spring day in Long Island, New York, Zone 7A. In today's video, we planted potatoes in 15-gallon plastic containers, and I gave you easy yet proven step-by-step instructions so you can have maximal growing and maximal yield success. If you have enjoyed the content of today's video, if you found today's video to be useful, helpful, informative, and absolutely new, don't be shy guys, super easy for you to do, super pleasing and rewarding to me. Show me that support by clicking thumbs up below. Leave your comments in the comment section as well. I personally read each and every single one of your comments and respond to each and every single one of you. Let me know, do you grow potatoes in your home garden? If so, where do you grow them? Do you grow them in containers? Do you grow them in the ground? I love talking to each and every single one of you. After you have thoroughly watered in your newly planted potato seeds, and again, make sure you water thoroughly. You want to see water running out below from the drainage holes. The next step is to place your containers in a full sun location. That's at least 6+ hours of direct, bright sunlight. For those of you who haven't yet subscribed to my gardening channel, Gardening Cold Spring Harbor, what are you waiting for, guys? Super easy for you to do, super pleasing and rewarding to me. Just go below this video and click the subscribe button. Click the bell icon as well if you want YouTube to send you notifications every single time I'll upload a new garden video. Stay healthy, happy, be well, each and every single one of you. And happy gardening, guys. And I'll see you again in my new upcoming garden videos. Bye, guys.